followed, once again, let me just share that if you're not followed me on Twitter, do follow on Twitter, because at the end of the week, I summarize that all in this session, but I'll post live tweets on Twitter. That will be like a live learning to you. So don't forget to follow. One more thing is our YouTube channel is, I think, uh, heavily underrated. And if you're not spreading the word, I might lose that confidence, and not confidence, actually, I might lose that interest to bring such insightful things for you. There are a lot of other works which I might do, like tomorrow. I have my daughter's birthday, and I was not able to plan because I was planning for this session for the whole day and bringing all the insights, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices for that, for the audience. And I see that YouTube channel is not, it is heavily underrated. So if it is not coming from you by sharing, and if I'm not getting motivation, because I've been doing this for past 5 years and YouTube subscribers are just 8,000. Um, and I sometimes I feel that should I stop putting the efforts which I'm doing, because I'm not getting that kind of a support from anywhere. People on, they don't comment, people don't subscribe. Most of our YouTube members who have seen the videos on transformer session, most of the people who have seen our videos in last bull run session, only 30% people have subscribed to it. So I feel very bad. So at some point of time, maybe I might also lose patience. But this is my humble request for you, that do share and do spread the word so that I can keep myself motivated to bring all the insights for you. So thank you everyone for joining in. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'll be happy to take those questions. I'm just putting the recording down. So the topic for today's discussion is World War 3. Has it started? So we are going to discuss about that in this today's weekly community connect. So that is the main topic of discussion. So let us move forward without wasting much time. So first we'll do the last week recap. So what we discussed during the last week. If you have not gone through my last week session, the video is available on YouTube. You can go and check that. So we commented on Kachra Stocks, why Kachra Stocks will start doing good in the next 90 to 100 days, and what is the caution that you should be having at this point of time in the markets where Kachra stocks will start flowing, and that will create a FOMO. So we discussed about that. Then we discussed about why 90 to 100 days will be good for PSU banks and markets in general, and also metal stocks and capital markets. That is what we had discussed. We also discussed why precious metals call for a asset allocation fix. So we discussed that in the last weekly session. Then we also discussed about what is the biggest threat for gold. Not now, but at least by 2028, 2029, that threat might become visible then. But we discussed about that. What is that threat for the gold? Now, this week's discussion, what are the things which we are going to discuss? So we'll discuss first about the tug of war which is happening between US and China, and then we'll discuss about, are we headed up for a melt up in asset classes, across asset classes, over the next 90 to 100 days. Then we'll be also discussing about Indian markets, where the money can be made over the next 3 months, 90 to 100 days. What are the sectors to focus for next 3 months? Then we also will be discussing about word of wisdom by Mr. Ramesh Damani. Then we'll be having an update on copper and copper miners. What is that which is happening there? Then we'll be discussing about what's up with Bitcoin. So what is happening with the Bitcoin world? Then we'll also discuss about AI bubble, how long it can last. And I'll share you the live case study of Nvidia versus AMD, which we discussed in our conviction club. I'll also be discussing about what to do with gold and silver now. So, and at the last, we'll have a discussion, and this will be an open discussion for all. Are we headed for a bigger financial crisis than global financial crisis? So that is what we'll be discussing. And whatever we'll be sharing in this today's presentation, please do not take anything as a recommendation. Suyog Dhavan or Strategic Alpha Private Limited is not SEBI registered investment advisors. So whatever shared in this presentation should be purely taken from an educational purpose. If you make money out of all these discussions, it is your own decision. If you lose money, it is all your own decision. So do not take anything as a recommendation, whatever we'll be discussing. This is all for purely educational purpose. Now let us move forward. So I posted this tweet on 7th of October 2025, a tug of war between two superpowers, US and China. And what is that tug of war? It is for global superpower. And that war is about who is the next superpower. Means whether US will remain as a superpower or whether China will emerge as a new superpower. And the war is going on between US and China. And we all are knowing that the tariff war is just a start, but overall the war is because China thinks that it is already a superpower. And how they are showing their superpowers, because US is saying that Bitcoin is the safest asset on the entire planet, because Bitcoin is owned by Trump and his allies and also federal government. Some of the states in US have started creating strategic Bitcoin reserves, and we have taken that detailed session on Bitcoin that is available on YouTube. You can go through that to understand the entire thesis on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, well, US is saying that Bitcoin is the safest asset. China is saying that gold is the safest asset. And both are buying left, right, and center. China is buying heavily on the gold side. US is buying uh, heavily on Bitcoin side. Now, I think the world will be clearly divided between two going ahead. The people who thinks who supports China and gold. Then there will be people who will support US and ultimately Bitcoin. Now, what has happened is in the recent past, I have discussed that in the Bitcoin session also, which I took with Mr. Amit Damija. Do go through that to understand what exactly is happening. A lot of people just think that um, Bitcoin मेरे लिए नहीं है, but understand that it is not about it is being for you or not. It is about understanding the global macros and how it is playing. So, and just yesterday, what has happened is the way the fight is going on, China is going to restrict rare earth metals for supply to around the world. Even they want that if somebody is like even China, which is importing that rare earth metals from China, if Taiwan wants to export that to third world country, any third country, they have to take the permission from China, and that is how they are controlling the supply chain of all these rare earth metals. And if they are controlling rare earth metals supply, which means indirectly they are saying, because rare earth metals is needed for chip production, semiconductors and all. US recently had made a situation that China won't get the tools which was manufactured, which is required for chip manufacturing and all those things. But the raw material is owned by China. So there is already a war which is happening in the soft manner. And I have told in the commodity bull run session that global power shift is happening from west to east. That I took that session 2 years back. It is available on YouTube. Do go through that to understand the global power shift happening from west to east, from US to Asian counterparts. And I think because of that, if US wants to remain as a global superpower, because US is in deep trouble, we all know that. Do you all agree that US is in a big deep trouble? Please comment in the comment box as trouble so that I can also understand. So US is in a big deep trouble. US has a debt close to $37 trillion. US has a debt of close to $37 trillion. And if they want to solve that $37 trillion debt problem, they need to solve that problem by owning something which can yield more than the debt. Currently, the total market cap of Bitcoin is around $2.5 trillion. And most of the Bitcoin is now cornered by US, Trump, his allies, federal government, some small countries like Bhutan, 11,000 Bitcoins and all. Most of the US, most of the Bitcoins are owned by US citizens or US smart people, not citizens, I would say, smart people, Trump allies, Trump himself, and the Federal Reserve itself, along with that the states in the US. So Bitcoin's total market cap is around $2.5 trillion, and most of the Bitcoins are owned by US. Now, if US has to solve that $37 trillion debt problem, they want this, if they are owning maximum of this, and Bitcoin has shown the history in the past that Bitcoin has gone up 10, 20 times and 30 times in past. So if Bitcoin goes up that way, they can solve their debt problem. That is what the only solution is. And we have discussed that case in the Bitcoin session to go through that to understand what exactly is happening. Please don't do that on the screen. Otherwise, I have to, please don't do that. So Bitcoin needs to solve the US needs to solve that problem, and Bitcoin is the only seems to be only solution for them, because some or the other time the US bubble might get burst, the debt bubble might get burst, and the trouble for today, the debt for today is bigger than the global financial crisis which it happened earlier. So what it means is, if they want to solve this, they need that the Bitcoin should reach higher than the market cap of gold. Gold has a total market cap of $25 trillion. Gold has a total market cap of $25 trillion. And if US wants to reserve their status of being a global superpower, Bitcoin's market cap needs to cross the gold's market cap, which means Bitcoin has to reach to a market cap level of $25 trillion. Only then Bitcoin can become global reserve asset. And that is what US is trying to do all these years. Just look at the developments in past 2-3 years. What is happening with Bitcoin, you will be able to understand it. And there is a conspiracy theory, which I don't know whether it will come today or not, because world will be clearly, it is for sure that world will be clearly divided into US and China going forward, the people who support China and the people who support US. Now there is one more thinking which I understand, is the people who are shifting towards China is like is India will become a close ally of China. That is what I think. Russia can become a close ally of China. That is what I think. And China, these three countries, China, India, and Russia. And I'm not, I went through a podcast which I shared in the Conviction Club, and I completely understand, believe in their views that India, China, and Russia can come together, because there is a high possibility. And why it can happen is because Russia has the cheapest energy. China has the cheapest technology, and India has the cheapest labor. And if these three countries come together, they can beat US. Whatever the troubles which Trump is doing right now, that trouble can be solved only when these three countries can come together. And that is what is happening. And even this I discussed way back earlier in the commodity bull run session. Global power shift is happening from west to east, and that is what I meant. And the recent podcast which happened, and I went through that, and I agreed to it, to those views, is because the view was about the power shift happening from west to east. So the tug of war between US and China is already there. And if as of now it is, the tension right now is more than the Cold War, it is more like a Cold War. But can it result into a real war going forward? Because all the countries start that way only. They give signs of a war first, even before a war happens. I don't know whether exactly the war will happen or not, but we cannot deny this fact. So overall, whatever the developments which is happening to in US and China, it is already looking like a Cold War. And the global tensions are already high after the Cold War. We have never seen that. And that was the exact reason what we explained in the commodity bull run session, that why gold and silver will move up. And since then, gold has moved up big, silver has moved up big. The reason for that was highest tensions after Cold War. So has the World War III has already started? Yes, I would say on a softer note, on a Cold War note, World War III has already started. That is what I think. Only just the thing is, earlier the wars were played by bombing each other and all. Today, war tactics are different. Today, the war tactics are different, and I believe that the World War III has already started. And if US has to win this war, I have recently discussed uh, about it in the last session. Lab grown gold, can it become a reality? It has already become a reality because there is a fusion reaction which has they have converted mercury into gold. So if US has, I don't know whether it is this conspiracy theory is true or not, but if US has to win this game, and if they really think that to make it very serious, to make Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset, they might even start expediting on developments on lab grown gold, so which we cannot deny at this fact. Nobody knows beyond a point, so we cannot deny this fact that they might look to expedite these developments on lab grown gold, which has recently. And we must keep our eyes and ears open what is happening around the world. And this is what I am saying. I don't know whether US actually will do it or not, but this is what the dot connecting is telling me. I don't know whether I might go wrong on this, that they might not be doing that also. But this is a food for thought for me. That is what I'm saying. And overall, I've been saying that when the global war is there for the global superpower, it is best to own both the Bitcoin and the gold. And I'm looking to own Bitcoin now because recently there has been the correction from 1,25,000 to 1,13,000. And this is good point, because if I am believing in this thesis, I'll start doing small. I'm not saying big, because gold is like a large cap stock, silver is like a mid cap stock, and Bitcoin is like a small cap or micro cap. Small cap, I would say, not micro cap. So whenever you construct a portfolio, large cap is your largest allocation, mid cap is the mid allocation, small cap you own very small. So similarly, out of my 100% of my portfolio, I'll put 10% into Bitcoin, 5 to 10% into Bitcoin, own more gold and silver, which I'm already owning. Recently booked profit because of asset allocation, it became a large part, and other equities. So that is what my view is. So I'm actively looking at Bitcoin and how where I can get the good risk reward. But overall, at this point of time, today maybe Bitcoin is trading at around 1 lakh 11,000 or 13,000. My stop loss on Bitcoin would be around 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees. Because if uh, I also have a stop loss even on long-term assets, long-term investments. So at least for 50%, if I bought worth, let us say 100 rupees, for 50% of the quantity, my stop loss on Bitcoin will be 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees. And rest 50, I'll keep on holding. Maybe at a later stage, once again, I might think of it. But that is what the global war is happening between US and China, and that is how it is what we say. It is how it will be affecting the asset classes over time over the next few years, maybe few months also. Now, hope this you have got a point on this, and hope you are clear on this. So the tug of war between US and China. Now, uh, one more thing which I shared, as I said that the Cold War has started between US and China. It has been happening for a long time, but there might be a chance in future that if this is not going to help them, they might also enter into some sort of war, physical war in future. That things cannot be denied because that will be the last stage of any war happening. Uh, Maybe in Feb or March next year, we should keep an eye. Even on a daily basis, we should keep an eye. But for next 3 months, I don't think anything of that sort will happen. But we should keep an eye on that. Now let us go forward with the weekly roundup. This is today is 11th October 2025. So let us understand about frontline indices first. India VIX closed at 10.15. It was up 0.9%. Nifty 50 was up 1.5%. Nifty Mid Cap 100 was up 2%. Nifty Small Cap 250 index was up 1.43%. Nifty Public Sector Enterprises was down 0.06%. BSE IPO index was up 2%. Nifty capital markets by far was the best performing asset class, and I've been talking about it in the past few weeks. I talked about it that Nifty capital markets can do well going forward in the next 100 days, 90 to 100 days, and it has already happened now. It has already started its outperformance because Nifty capital markets was by far one of the best performing sectors. Now, Nifty IT was up 4.9%, Nifty India Digital was up 4.5%, Nifty Healthcare was up 3.2%, Nifty Reality was up 2.3%. I'm not much bullish on IT from next 3 months perspective because as of now, I don't have view beyond 3 months. IT is undervalued, but IT is a place which I don't participate much. So long-term investors can start looking in IT, but the patience will be needed, which will be heavy patience, which will be needed. I'm not sure whether it will be doing good over the next 3-4 months. And uh, as of now, I'm not looking beyond 3 months. So this is what is it is today. Now let us look at the commodities performance. Silver was up 5.19%, gold was up 2.75%, scrap steel was up 0.86%, platinum was up 0.75%, copper was up 0.75% in past 1 week. All other commodities you can see here. Palladium was one of the best performing industrial asset class. Industrial metal was up 16.88%. Cobalt was up 15.5%. Aluminium was up 2.84%. So this was about commodities performance. Now let us look at the news which matters the most. Now Kotak MF has suspended lump sum investments into silver ETF FOF. Now let us understand why it has happened. Now a lot of people are going gung-ho on silver ETFs, but let me just tell you there is a clear warning from my side on participating in silver ETF. Why I'm saying so is because until now silver was tracking the silver ETF was tracking the silver's price. If silver moved 10%, ETF also moved, let us say 9.5%, even 10%. But recently, what has happened is when the silver has moved like from 1 lakh to 1 lakh 10,000, let us say, for example, but silver ETF are moving in a way that silver has moved to 1.2 lakh, which means silver ETF are now trading at a premium of around 10% than silver, which means, and why it has happened? Because the gullible investors, retail investors, just because they are seeing silver prices going up, they are chasing silver like anything. They are chasing silver ETF like anything. And because of that, silver ETFs are trading at a premium. Now, if silver ETFs are trading at a premium, क्योंकि 1 लाख का वैल्यू है सिल्वर का, बट सिल्वर ईटीएफ ऐसे ट्रेड कर रहा है जैसे सिल्वर 1,10,000 पे है. What it means is, in the case of any such demand slowdown, because there is lot of demand for silver ETF today. So what is happening is, if silver ETFs are trading at a premium, if the demand which is there for silver, if it is not there, and suddenly if there the demand comes down, the silver ETF investors will silver ETF investors will face big losses. So that is the reason why Kotak ETF FOF has been closed down. It has suspended. Electric vehicle prices to match petrol vehicles within 4 to 6 months. That is what Nitin Gadkari is saying. Rare earth, China tightens grip on global supplies. That is all the development is. Now, as per Strategic Alpha's FTVT framework, the sectors which are in uptrend, high relative strength, and low valuations. Earlier, I used to have copper miners ETF here, but today it is not there. I'll be discussing about that. Why is it so? So let us move forward and understand Nifty 50 equal weight index. So this is Nifty 50 equal weight index, and it is creating a super interesting pattern. I had said it earlier. As of now, the partial confirmation has come, but I will still wait for it to cross this red zone, which is 32,556. Today it is at 32,363. If it crosses 32,556 on a weekly closing basis, there will be a super melt up on the upside in Indian markets. Super melt up means huge rally, because I've discussed about it earlier also, that the total time taken from here to here, we have seen 1 year of consolidation. And as per my understanding of observation, the total time taken by the consolidation, if we divide it by 3, that is the time projection which we get. So because of this pattern which is formed, I'm not thinking beyond 90 to 100 days as of now, because if it breaks out of this, I'm still tracking it. The selective pockets like PSU banks and metals and capital markets, they already started their bull run for next 90 to 100 days. But that is my thesis of 90 to 100 days, but it is yet to confirm on Nifty 50 equal weight index. So thesis will get super validated when the Nifty 50 equal weight index crosses 32,556, but it is on a verge of crossing that. So I'm still tracking Nifty 50 equal weight index. So that is what it is. Now let us move forward. So I also posted on 9th of October 2025. Investor should use these extended gains in the commodities, in the stocks, and irrationality in this crazy phase to bring the money home, because next 90 to 100 days is purely a traders and speculators market. Investors can gain out of it if they are just holding their investment. Don't plan any lot of new investments in this space, especially in the stocks which are in the momentum zone, because you might get your fingers burnt. But whatever you're holding right now, and which is already doing well, and which is at a lifetime high or a 52-week high, just keep on holding that. And slowly over the next 2 months, uh, take off the gains and especially where the stocks where you think that most of the fundamentals have played out, start taking the money off the table. That is what I would suggest. So investors should use the extended gains in the stocks and irrationality in this crazy phase to bring the money home. Don't think मैंने बेचने के बाद ऊपर जाएगा क्या. So at least slowly over the next 2 months, that is what that should be the plan. The next 3 months will be crazy things happening. Now it cannot happen on a day basis. So how to understand extended gain stocks? The stocks which are at new lifetime high, trading at least 20% above 30-week moving average. Stock which is overvalued already on a historical price to book and market cap to sales basis. The market cap to sales basis and historic price to book basis is already at a lifetime high, maybe. The stocks which you don't have enough conviction and still going up, such stocks. ETFs which they are trading at a premium to INAV. So like we also booked out in the gains in Mirai Asset Hang Seng Tech ETF, MAH Tech, because it was trading at a 26%, 24% premium than the index itself. And there is a mutual fund which is called as Edelweiss Greater China Fund, which I think we will be able to. So we are taking out the gains from Mirai Asset Hang Seng Tech ETF because it is trading at a premium. The same China theme can be once again played through Edelweiss Greater China Fund. Or there are a lot of other China funds, technology focused, because I'm more bullish on technology focused. For all the mutual fund investors, which we distribute mutual funds, we will be doing the same. So personally, I have booked out of Mirai Asset Hang Seng Tech ETF and will be participating China through the Edelweiss Greater China Fund, which gives me an opportunity to take China allocation at a no premium, because when I sold Mirai Asset Hang Seng Tech ETF, it gave me opportunity to exit Hang Seng Tech higher than the higher 24% than where it is today. So such even a silver ETF was trading at 10% premium. We have also told our mutual fund distribution clients that book profit in the silver mutual fund. And there is one more mutual fund which we are owning, that is gold and silver, that we have not sold completely. Partial profit booking we have done. But wherever there is 100% silver mutual fund, we have told people to book out completely. Maybe gold and silver SIP can continue, but if somebody has invested already lump sum, it is better to bring money home and start the SIP once again. SIP is a better approach to participate if it goes in the melt up stage over the next 3 months. So stocks which you think they have run beyond the valuations. Also remember in the last phase, the varied perception stocks might do extremely very well. So uh, that is what my reading is. Even the IPOs, recently overvalued IPOs, they might be extremely doing good for the next 3 months. And if you are a IPO investor, that is what I am personally doing. We had invested in few pre-IPO companies. I will be selling the profit. I will be booking profit in the pre-IPO because the gain has been substantial now, and we want to book profits in pre-IPO because I don't want to be in the trouble later on. If Because this is the time where the melt up can help you bring the money home in this phase. Now I posted about it. Use the opportunity in MAH Tech in the morning where people were going crazy to buy. So Mirai Hang Seng Tech ETF on that day was up 12%. It was trading at a hefty premium to INAV when the index has not moved. So there are many ways through which we can trade in this Chinese equity where they are trading at par to NAV. So that is what we did. many people, so this is one more actually word of wisdom, where people were complaining about silver ETF trading at a discount to silver prices. I had always said that you cannot control, then why are you worrying? Now silver ETF is trading at a premium to silver. Such a simple mental models are mean reversion is imminent, and we have seen that happening in silver ETF. So mean reversion mental model, I have explained that on our blogs. I've written 140 plus blogs. Do go through that, which will help you understand all these mental models. So I had also discussed about it in on Twitter that self-explanatory 61.8% retracement, um, uh, working magical from where the markets have bounced. So this is 61.8% retracement, and I had posted about it that market can bounce back from here, and exactly the markets have bounced back from there. So we needed a close of above 25,340 by this weekend for the rally ahead, and we have just fall short of some points. So we need to check in the next week if we close above this. So only the close above this 25,340 will double confirm my thesis on 90 to 100 days. Being bullish on next 90 to 100 days, it will double confirm that thesis. We need a weekly close about 25,340. But as of now, for the sectors like PSU Bank, capital market, and metal stocks, the thesis holds true for next 90 to 100 days already. It's just that the market has to confirm for the double confirm and more conviction. So tomorrow price action is also important. So that is what I had posted. But that after that, yesterday, Friday, price action has been very good. Today, but understand that when the facts change, I change my views immediately. What do you do, sir? That is what I say. So do check the fact change whenever it happens, and do change the view. You cannot be eternally bullish on any market. So now let us understand about, I also posted about this. I think I have discussed about it. Tug of war. Now let us move forward. And I also posted about it on 6th of October that we are headed for bubbles of epic proportions across asset classes. I'm worried for those who are not aware of this and shall get carried away by FOMO. The end of this will not be good. I am bullish, but I am sitting like a bear and understanding the developments happening on a daily basis and what, how, and when exactly can turn bad. Things can turn bad. As I am saying right now, that the Cold War has started between US and China. What if the real World War 3 starts? Maybe after January or February, or maybe after April or March. I don't know. And we already know that equity as an asset class itself is not favorable. I've been saying that for 18 months since we took the commodity bull run session. Since that day, I started talking about it that equity as an asset class itself is not favorable. And since then, see in 18 months what has happened with equity and what has happened with commodities, gold and silver. So even that thing holds true because world the best asset class is to own, not today, actually it is already late to own gold and silver. If you are thinking about gold and silver today, you might get your finger burnt. 18 months before, from then I have been talking about it. And there has been, and even though the equity as an asset class is not unfavorable, is unfavorable, it has still done good in some pockets. Like Chinese equities has done good, US market has done good, but commodities have done, it has been the best asset class, especially gold and silver. Now what happens is, before the bubble bursts, because the endless amount of money printing which has happened across the world, not only in US, I'm talking about across the world, the money printing at enormous proportions and has happened, and at some point of time bubble has to get burst. And I think at some point of time, I don't know whether it is 2026 or at a later stage, but we are headed, if
US doesn't solve its problem through Bitcoin, we are headed for a bigger crisis than global financial crisis. If US solves its problems by Bitcoin, then maybe it might not happen. So the things are like that. And as of now, you should have a watch on that. So what exactly? Because a lot of people say that भाई आपने तो ये बोला था ऐसे नहीं. I am saying there are always ifs and buts, and we need to think about that. Market is not a math problem with a single answer. Market is a puzzle with complex probabilities, and we need to, if we want to solve that puzzle, tracking only one asset class is not useful. You need to track gold, Bitcoin, global commodities, industrial commodities, all global equity markets, currencies. Only then you can have a holistic view. And I think by holistic view understanding, I don't know whether US will be able to solve its problem or not, but it is all about probabilities and it is all about the risk reward. And according to the risk reward, according to the undervaluedness, you need to play between the asset classes. And as of now, uh, very initial sense, very initial sense. Out of 100 rupees, I might only put 2 rupees or 3 rupees in Bitcoin today. And as the thesis gets stronger, uh, thinking that US is now solving the problem of its debt, I'll start increasing and averaging on the upside. So that is what I'm doing right now. Gold and silver are the best hard assets to own. They have rallied up a lot. Good to book profit partially. Silver is trading at a premium, but gold and silver mutual fund, Edelweiss Gold and Silver ETF FOF, is good for SIP. It is good for SIP, and I'm content. So lump sum, whatever gains have been made, booking out of that and converting that into SIP so that we will not miss the upcoming rally just because it is heavily overbought in the short term, and because we don't want to miss out on the long term, cutting down the lump sum and continuing the SIP is a good idea in precious metals. That is what is overall the thinking is. But at some point of time, I think when let us say if US is not able to solve its problem, then we are headed for bubble burst across asset classes. Silver will also fall down. Silver will fall down more than the gold. Gold will also fall down. Real estate will also fall down. Stock market, Indian stock market will also fall down. US stock market will also fall down. If US is not able to solve its problem, there is a high chance that US is headed for a lost decade. For 10 years, zero returns. And it has happened in past. It is not that it will be happening new for US, because it has already happened in the past. So if US is not able to solve its debt problem, it might enter into a lost decade, like after it happened after dot-com bubble burst. After dot-com bubble burst, for 10 years, Nasdaq was down more than 65% from the top. And the AI bubble, which is there happening in the US, I think AI has reached to a stage where now ChatGPT is saying that they will consume more energy than entire country of Canada, or maybe or US. You can go and check that. So it is, I think it is sounding to me similar to what it was there in the dot-com stage. A lot of people in dot-com were thinking the similarly. Nvidia has been the best performing asset class in the entire world. The returns from Nvidia in past 5-6 years is higher than even Bitcoin. So Nvidia is the poster boy of this current bull market. And if we have to track that when this bubble can burst, we have to track two things. One is Nvidia and second is Bitcoin. So if the trend reversal happens on Nvidia on monthly charts, weekly and monthly charts, that will be the first sign, not weekly charts, actually monthly charts, that will be the first sign of asset bubble burst in AI. And then even maybe Bitcoin. But before that, Bitcoin has to rally because Bitcoin has not done anything. Bitcoin has been underperforming gold over the past some time. So I also posted about one rare thing which was there, and I also participated in it, but I got stopped out near cost. 50% at cost and some at 1% loss was crude oil. So crude oil to silver ratio was at a very rare place, and there was a chance that crude oil might do well if we get it at a reversal. And there was a small reversal which was possible, but crude didn't sustain its gains, and it once again fell down after the yesterday's news. Yesterday's development between US and China, crude fell down, copper fell down, Bitcoin fell down, US market fell down, Russell 2000 fell down. So across all, there was some softness after yesterday's development. So I also got stopped out in crude. I also got stopped out in copper. Copper leverage trade, not copper miners ETF. Copper miners ETF is a investment which I am owning, but copper trade I got stopped out. So that is what the rarity was. Now, this was one more discussion which was happening in the Conviction Club. Member question was US market shutdown won't bring US money back to emerging markets. Also, US markets hit green last Friday when US government itself shut down. Has anyone idea on this? I said US is climbing walls of worries, sign of the last phase before the bubble burst. Member in US or globally, if US also, we should be double cautious, or emerging market like India is fine. Other notable point here was he said Russia and China is dead economy, but his own government shuts down. My response was we are headed for all asset bubble. It will burst at some point of time. Here I earlier said that Bitcoin will give the first sign of bubble burst, but it is not Bitcoin. It is going to be Nvidia. But nothing to be worried as of now. The China has silently become the global superpower. It's just that world needs to accept it now. That is what I said. But I think both are the global superpowers, and there is a tug of war happening between who is the global superpower. I think I also posted about it. US is 25% of global GDP, but 78% of global market cap. After the burst, it is headed for a lost decade ahead in terms of stock market returns. And bubble burst can happen only when they are not able to solve the debt problem. So we need to keep that a check. US has already had a last decade in past. It is not new for them. Valuations do matter at some point of time. Businesses, some people say that AI bubble and all that, US is intelligent and all that. But even in .com times, US companies were intelligent. But what happened with smartest of the smart companies? After the .com bubble burst, the 10-year return on greatest of the greatest company, even Microsoft, the returns were abysmally low. Even for Infosys, for 8 years, the stock fell down like 60% from the top after .com bubble burst. So it's not that businesses will continue to flourish. So if Infosys from 1999 to 2008, it continued to flourish, but the stock price was down 60%. So valuations matter after a point. Businesses might continue to flourish post biggest ever financial crisis. I don't know whether it will happen today or not, financial crisis. But if US, which is trying to solve the problem through Bitcoin, if it able to solve the problem through Bitcoin, then the financial crisis might not happen. But if it is not able to do that, though we are headed for the financial crisis. So stock won't go up, and as returns have already got ended now, mean reversion is imminent. Don't forget mean reversion and don't forget rule number one. That is what I say. Now I had said this once again. I am repeating. Newbies, please control your FOMO for the next 3 months. Please do not indulge into trading. Please do not indulge into leverage. Please do not indulge into the stocks which you don't understand. Please do not indulge into the things, even gold and silver or ETF, just because the world is owning and just because world has started talking about it. It might go up for the next 3 months, but you don't know whether if the 3 months might turn into, because as I said that today I'm saying 3 months, but if I see a sign that in the November itself or November end itself the data has changed, I will change my views. So next 90 days likely to be traders paradise. And even if you're a trader, please avoid leverage. Please avoid leverage now. I'm just admitting that I was on heavy leverage in past 8 months. Just yesterday, I have decided that I will bring the leverage to very minimal. I don't want to be leverage going forward, because going forward over the next 3 months, the developments which will be happening across the world, it will be very hard for the person to understand. So I'll be cutting down the leverage in big time, big time. This shall happen across asset classes. So to all the newbies, again, once again, I shared that this is one more data which I shared about the charts was gold versus DXY. So this is gold versus dollar index ratio chart. So gold is almost reaching the projected upside. So please do not confuse the projection with the target. I don't believe in the targets. But technical projections was saying that this was the technical projection red line. That was the technical projection for the time target. So as per the time, not time target, time projection. As per the time projection, December 2025 to January 2026 was the price projection, price and time projection for the gold, and it has already reached that price projection and time correction, time projection also. Price projection it has already reached. As per the time projection, maybe we might see the bull run continuing till December 2025 or January 2026 as per the time. So we need, this is the thing need to be done, looked at. But the second price projection, I've been talking about it, and in the commodity bull run session, I have already talked about it, that we are in a commodity bull run at least till 2028 and 2029. And the second price projection and time projection for precious metals is much higher than here. So the gold and silver has already done well extremely in past 18 months. But maybe after, let us say, some trouble might happen or some war might happen. I don't know what will happen and which will bring down gold and silver after a rise, not now. Maybe before drop, we might see a rally. But at this point of time, I'll be cautious and book partial profits, because this is not time to be adventurous in gold and silver now. As a trader, I will trade with strict stop loss in gold and silver. As an investor, I will book partial profits and continue through SIP in gold and silver. Because if the price falls, let us say, because anyway we are in a bull run till at least 28, 29. If the price corrects, I will be benefit out of it. And even the asset allocation, also it is saying, because gold and silver became a large part of our portfolio, and we do periodic asset allocation rebalancing for even for our clients. So it suggested to book out the profits of from gold, silver, gold miner, silver miner, and shift it to undervalued assets. So that is what we'll be doing in precious metals. Now let us look at one more thing. As I said that Nvidia is the poster boy of the current bull market, creating AI bubble. So this is Nvidia comparison with Bitcoin, comparison with gold, silver, and other markets. So Nvidia has been the best performer asset, best performing instrument. So Nvidia, which was the bull market leader, it will it will be the first sign to tell us about the bubble burst. So we need to track Nvidia from that angle. Now, one more thing is related to Nvidia. We also discussed about it. A lot of people were gung-ho on Nvidia in our conviction club, and I suggested about it. So on 3rd of September, I attended even before that, before 3rd September, I attended Investor Accelerator Summit in Goa. And there was a case presented by Mr. Tariq on AMD. And I liked that thesis because it was fitting my criteria, which I used in BSE versus NSE. Bombay Stock Exchange video is available on YouTube. Do go through that. When people were gungo on NSE in 2018, 2019, I owned BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, because understand the case here, and I posted about it. It is a typical, so people were bullish on Nvidia. I said I'm bullish on AMD because it is a typical mental model like BSE versus NSE. In 2019, we had a thesis on BSE that BSE had 5% market share of world Indian trading market, and NSE had 95% market share of Indian trading market. But for NSE to go from 95% market share to 100% market share, it was relatively difficult. But for BSE to go from 5% market share to 10% market share, it was relatively easier. And BSE stock was down 65% from the top. It qualified from a deep value perspective because market cap of BSE was 2,400 crore, cash on balance sheet, debt-free company, 150-year-old business, and cash rich company, stake in CDSL, Mumbai ka building ka valuation, all put together, the liquidation value of that company was 3,600 crore. And so it was practically impossible to lose money in Bombay Stock Exchange when we discussed that case on our YouTube channel in 2019. Do go through that. It is available on our YouTube. The stock has become 30x since then. So the simple mental model I used there was NSE cannot become a monopoly. BSE will still remain there. Stock is down 70% from the top. It is a deeply undervalued stock. Heads I win big, tails I don't lose much. A typical Pabrai type of case study. And that is the mental model I also used in Nvidia versus AMD. So BSE gaining market share for NSE, that is was the case. And right now, Nvidia has 92% market share in the GPUs and AMD has 4% market share. It is difficult for Nvidia to go higher from here from 92% to 100%, but it is relatively easier for AMD to go from 4% market share to 8% market share. So AMD has started working on GPUs over the past 2 years. And so someone said, as I work in this domain, Nvidia is far ahead, driving the industry towards their solutions where no other competitor is nearby. I said 100% what you are right. AMD is nowhere competing in this replacement. So it is not about competition. See, high quality company cannot be always high quality investment. That is what I wanted to say. And since then, what has happened is this is a live learning for people who think high quality at any price can make money. Uh, uh, who think high buy quality at any price will make money. Everything is relative in this world. We discussed the case of AMD versus Nvidia on 3rd of September in Conviction Club. Since then, Nvidia is up 15% and AMD is up 35%. So beyond a point, valuations do matter. That was the learning. And I said here, BAP doesn't work, which means buy at any price doesn't work. This is a live learning for all. Now, one more thing, as I said that Bitcoin, I will start allocating very small out of 100 rupees, very 2 rupees. Why I'm saying so? Because this is Bitcoin versus gold ratio chart. The ratio doesn't seem to be favorable, which means Bitcoin is heavily underperforming gold for the past few weeks, and it has been consolidating. So gold has performed better than Bitcoin. So all the thesis which we have discussed in the Bitcoin session, go through that thesis because this is I have started like a tracking position in Bitcoin now. I will increase more Bitcoin only when this ratio chart crosses on the upside here on lifetime high. So out of 100 rupees, I have started allocating 2 rupees in Bitcoin. So one more thing is, this is important thing to understand, is I am more bullish on Indian markets now than 1 year before. September 2024, I said that I want to move out of Indian markets and more allocate to gold miners, silver miners, gold and silver. That is what I said. But today, I have started just becoming bullish. But by the end of this month, maybe more clarity will come. So my stance today is, and that I'm not saying it because I am thinking it. It is not my blind thinking. This is what the data is saying. This is CNX 500 versus S&P 500, and just see what has happened in the past. In 2014, when the ratio turned up, the Indian markets did better than US, because this is numerator divided by denominator. If the ratio is moving up, which means numerator is doing good compared to denominator. So when the ratio has started moving up, it means Indian markets have done better than US markets. Once again, in 2020 to 2022, Indian markets did better than US markets. But in the recent times, US markets have done better than Indian markets. But this is as of early signs, because end of this month will confirm, the full candle will be completing here, because this is monthly chart. But this is the initial signs. But as of now, forget about Indian markets. The themes which are good compared to Indian markets, I think I can already start participating there, going bullish more on those themes, which is PSU Bank, metal, and capital markets. These three themes, I don't have to wait for the month end there, because they are already outperforming the Indian markets. So bullish more on Indian markets. The confirmation will come up by end of the month. Then can also look at other sectors also. But as of now, I'm looking at these three sectors. Now let us look at what these three sectors are. Nifty metal is at a new lifetime high breakout. So this data is also saying that next 90 to 100 days will be good for Nifty metal. Then PSU Bank Index, it is into stage 2 uptrend and it is at a cup and handle stage. It is also saying the same for next 90 to 100 days. PSU banks can do very well. Nifty Capital Market Index, this is Nifty Capital Market divided by Nifty 100 equal weight index. This is also saying the same. Even if you divided the total consolidation divided by 3. Last week I had said that in the next week I'll be giving you that answer why 90 days. So the total consolidation, be it PSU Bank, the total consolidation from year to year, count that days. This is exactly 360 or 370 days divided by 3. You got an answer for next time projection. For next time projection is around 90 to 100 days. Here also, total time taken in this consolidation divided by 3, next 90 to 100 days. Here also, total time taken in the consolidation divided by 3, you'll get 90 to 100 days. And that is the reason why I'm not bullish beyond 90 to 100 days. In the first week of December, I will review it once again, what data it's saying. But these are the three themes. I don't have to wait for the end of the month for to participate in these three themes, because they are already doing better than the market. Now, one more update about copper miners ETF. We took the session. It was trading at around 51.52. It quickly moved from 51.52 to 64. But last week there has been a rejection from the lifetime high. So I would like to go slow here on Copex, because there is a gap here around 55 to 56, around 56 levels, which means that where the data itself is saying that US markets might maybe underperform, it might fall down to come to that place. So I would go slow. I'm not bearish on copper miners, but I'll just go slow at this point of time, because I'll go bearish on copper miners only when it falls down below 52, 52 or even 50. But as of now, I'll just go slow on copper miners ETF. It has run up a lot in short time. So we need, whenever the closing happens above, weekly closing happens above 63.13, I can once again start going bullish more on copper miner CTO. So from an Indian market perspective, what is that I'm focusing for the next 3 months? One is PSU Bank, second is metal stocks, third is capital market stock. Fourth is you can participate and research more on data center and AI. But personally, I will not be looking at that because I lack the understanding on data center and AI. So even though I've posted a thesis on AMD, maybe that is not my hot favorite thesis. Because I'm a person who understands more miners, commodities, and all. So I don't prefer because of lack of understanding. But people who understands the technology, you can understand, you can research more on data center and AI. Then transformers. But in the this is capital markets is most I'm most bullish on means not most bullish actually. This is actually the number one is PSU Bank, metal stocks, and capital market stock. So three themes I'm most bullish on. But others slightly bullish. Data center and AI, I might not look at it because of lack of understanding. Transformers, I might look into it, but that is not my hot favorite today as on today. If the charts for the transformer sectors turn up, then I might turn bullish. Maybe by the end of the month, my view on transformers might be very more concrete. I might be trading in cash stocks in varied perception stocks, which is like Kachra stocks. I already told last time that I am owning McLeod Russell and I added more. My average is around 47 rupees in McLeod Russell. My stop loss is around 44 on a weekly closing basis. But Kachra stocks, but not Kachra businesses, because McLeod Russell holds largest tea estate in the world, and it is going through a special situation. There has been some negative news regarding the recent 500 crore of ruling against them. So you have to be cautious on that. But if I'll be exiting it completely when it closes below 44 on a weekly closing basis. My average price is around 47. So precious metals, but only for trading. But investing, I'm holding with PM, means silver and gold, Edelweiss gold and silver ETF FOF. Partially, I'm owning a booked out of silver ETF completely. So this investment I am still owning. That is what my focus is for next 3 months. So one more word of wisdom is copying ideas of celebrity investors look easy. However, copying the idea doesn't mean the returns, same returns to the both. Conviction is what make money. It is what makes money. Copy ideas only and only if you can develop uncheckable conviction during the crisis times. And especially next 3 months will be very difficult time for you to have that conviction. So don't use borrowed conviction. So words of wisdom by Mr. Ramesh Damani. As I said that I'm bullish on Bitcoin. My Bitcoin video has just got 500 views. So, and I have just started allocating 2 rupees out of 100 rupees. And I think this word of wisdom, I believe in that by Mr. Ramesh Damani. If everyone applauds for your pick, it is probably not a great idea. So if everyone is talking for your for your pick, it's not a great idea. If there is a huge level of skepticism in what you are buying, that is when it can become a good pick. I'm not saying great pick, good pick. Because there has to be skepticism in what you are buying. Finding picks and finding alpha is a lonely road. When I spoke about gold mining theme, many people, including our own community members, were not bullish on gold mining theme and they missed out on gold mining theme completely. Do you all agree to this? Please comment in the comment box. When I said about gold mining thing, I saw many negative comments from the own community members, and I think they missed it out completely. So there has to be skepticism in what you are buying. finding picks, great picks is a lonely road. So this is the word of wisdom. Now, thank you all for attending this weekly community connect. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles for the dose of knowledge, wisdom, and ideas. We are available on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'll be soon doing techno value investing workshop now, where I discussed about our holistic investment process of connecting fundamentals, technicals, value, and trigger to bring out the holistic analysis. Do register for that workshop whenever I'll be taking it. Once again, let me just repeat whatever discussed in this today's session. Please do not take this as a recommendation. We are not SEBI registered investment advisors to give you any advice. Please consult your financial advisor, SEBI registered investment advisor, to have to take any financial advice. So with this, I conclude that I have come to the end of this session. Before going forward, once again, let me just share that if you have not followed me on Twitter, do follow on Twitter, because at the end of the week, I summarize that all in this session. But I'll post live tweets on Twitter. That will be like a live learning to you. So don't forget to follow. One more thing is our YouTube channel is, I think, uh, heavily underrated. And if you're not spreading the word, I might lose that confidence, and not confidence, actually, I might lose that interest to bring such insightful things for you. There are a lot of other works which I might do, like tomorrow. I have my daughter's birthday, and I was not able to plan because I was planning for this session for the whole day and bringing all the insights, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices for that, for the audience. And I see that YouTube channel is not, it is heavily underrated. So if it is not coming from you by sharing, and then if I'm not getting motivation, because I've been doing this for past 5 years and YouTube subscribers are just 8,000. And I sometimes I feel that should I stop putting the efforts which I'm doing, because I'm not getting that kind of a support from anywhere. People on, they don't comment, people don't subscribe. Most of our YouTube members who have seen the videos on transformer session, most of the people who have seen our videos in last bull run session, only 30% people have subscribed to it. So I feel very bad. So at some point of time, maybe I might also lose patience. But this is my humble request for you, that do share and do spread the word so that I can keep myself motivated to bring all the insights for you.